Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be correcting more historical misnomers and spreading the truth like usual. Today I'll be addressing the death of Lenin, the founder of the Soviet Union, and my beliefs about the truths and the lies about this event. Wonderful. Now to start off, I'm going to do what I sometimes do, which is to just explain to you what is the commonly held historical belief. And that is that beginning in 1923, Lenin began experiencing health problems. He had a few strokes, that sort of thing. And then January 1924, a year later, he eventually fell into a coma and died. Now, this actually is a great place to start with Lenin's death and funeral. After all the funeral proceedings had been undertaken, Lenin was preserved and put into a mausoleum to which he still resides to this day. As you can see on the picture, it doesn't really look very much like a human being. In fact, I believe it is more like a model, a wax perhaps model of Lenin, meant to deceive the people that he'd in fact died, when in fact he hadn't died. As I mentioned earlier, I do believe this is the corpse on display is some sort of model. In fact, it's quite funny. I was reading an article and it was titled "Lenin's Body Improves with Age," and it was just about how embalming techniques were getting better and they could preserve it better. It does beg the question, why could something improve with age? You see, I don't see how detail could be added to a body unless it was not the real body and improvements were being made to a model, or maybe even new models were even created. In fact, no body that I could find exists that is both older than Lenin and better preserved, meaning that either if Lenin is not fake, then he is the best preserved of all time from his time, which of course is possible, but the odds push against it. In fact, there's a news article from March this year where someone attempted to revive Lenin, in fact. However, it did not work, and one of the possible reasons for this could be because it wasn't real Lenin. Now, I think I've pretty conclusively gone through the evidence that he in fact didn't die. Now, I'm going to explore the reasons why he might want to have faked his death. Now, in the few years before his fake death, he had a lot of political rivalry from people such as Stalin, for example, who would have definitely wanted him dead to take power over the Soviet Union. Now, I think if I was Lenin back then, and after a lot of stress, after living a pretty successful life, I'd have wanted to just get away from that and just live out my life in peace. Now, I think that's exactly what Lenin did. You know, to de-stress his life and also to avoid any potential assassinations that were probably going to happen within a few years anyway. So now the question really is, where did he go? What did he do? Now that's what I'm about to explain. So now I need to enter the character of André Louis Debierne or something like that. Because this is the identity that Lenin took on after he faked his death. This is the man that is Lenin after death. Now, the evidence really does match up that these are one and the same person. See, for one, Lenin was born in 1870, alright? Now, for him to take on a new identity, his birthday just needs to be made up in the general surrounding years that means that he could look that age, alright? So Andrei was born, supposedly, Andrei was supposedly born 4 years later in 1874, which is certainly within the age that, you know, he could look the same age, especially if Lenin was quite youthful, then yeah, he could easily look like someone 4 years younger. Now, the identity of Andrei was in fact a French person. So if Lenin didn't speak French, this wouldn't really add up. But in fact, Lenin spoke Russian, English, French, and German. Did you hear I said French in that list? Meaning he could have easily impersonated as a French person in his next life. And I think that moving to another country, France, would have been a strategic move from Lenin. A lot less people are likely to recognise him and suspect that he wasn't Andrei, who didn't exist, he was Lenin. Now you might see that in the images that I've strung up, Andrei and Lenin look very, very similar. And in fact, the facial hair is only even slightly changed between the two. You know, he really could have gone for a completely different style. He barely changed it. In fact, Lenin really has not hidden his trail so well. I have unpicked his escape with ease. I'm surprised I'm the first person to do it. So now the question begs, what did Lenin do as Andrei after his death? Well, Andrei was a French chemist. In fact, he did discover an element, in fact. However, this was in fact before he completely switched to Andrei. So in fact, he did serve a bit of a dual life before his death. So he had been setting this up for a while, perhaps used his power and influence to get himself set up in his other life, and then when he wanted to, when he faked his death, he completely switched over and lived until the ripe age of 79, unlike what is believed, which is the age of 53. So now you know the truth about Lenin's not death. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please watch another video, and goodbye.